I absolutely think that women should be lifting weights and go to the gym, right? But can we please stop trying to feminize the act of lifting weights? I walked into a new gym the other day, right? And the whole thing is painted black and gray. Everything's black. But there's multiple rooms. And one of the rooms is like, I walked past it and I'm like blinded because it's so bright. It's white. They painted it white and they have gold decorations. Guess what it's called? The booty room. That's gotta be sexist, right? There's peach emojis in gold plastered all over the wall. And of course the font is all in cursive. That's gotta be sexist. There's no reason for all that. Okay? I think we can all agree that lifting in itself is a masculine act. And that's fine. Women do masculine things and men do feminine things. We're not only feminine and then only masculine. That's fine. Can we accept that? And can we not have beauty room when I just want to do some freaking hip thrust? Is that too much to ask?
They say the glutes are the biggest muscle on the body. Don't settle. They can always be bigger, look better. Here are some exercises that are guaranteed to do that. First on the menu was dumbbell RDLs. You know the drill, nice, slow, and controlled for the best contraction. I did these for a total of 4 sets of 12 reps. Hip thrusts, an absolute classic. If you want to grow your glutes, you gotta do some hip thrusts. Today, I've really focused on pushing myself and going heavy with all of my exercises because if you want to grow, you need to go heavy without sacrificing your form, of course. Always remember to keep that chin tucked and your spine neutral. This is what the last rep of my top set looked like. That weight barely got up. I was on a mission to get the best pump ever. It definitely got the job done. High stance leg press. The higher you put your feet up on the platform, the more hip flexion you will get, which means more glute activation. I also went heavy on these because being in the booty room with gold peaches on the wall instilled a deep rage in me and I had to get that out. Also, can we take a moment for this grout fit? Finally, it was time for some frogs. If you haven't tried this exercise before, try it. You will get the best glute pump of your life. First, you want to align the bottom of the bench to be right above where the bar of the Smith machine would hit. Then you want to lay on the bench, literally in a frog position, and put your feet under the bar, and then basically just come as low as you can and as high as you can. Really squeeze those glutes to get that weight up. Here's a side view so you can visualize it a little bit better. As you can see, I'm as close to the bar as I can be. This can be a pretty awkward exercise, so I like to have a sweater or a big t-shirt to cover my butt while I do them, but you definitely shouldn't let their weirdness stop you from doing them because they are so good.
To restart this video a million times because I can't form my words, but I drove home and I got the random urge to share my testimonial, I believe is what it's called, your story of how you started believing in God or how you came to Jesus. I am a new believer. I started believing the beginning of this year and I grew up pretty much atheist. I acknowledge the fact that there has to be something of a higher consciousness than humans the past couple of years, but I only started believing in Jesus specifically the beginning of this year. And what prompted it is, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen him. His name's Cliff Knechtley. Basically, he's been going around college campuses for I think like more than 40 years preaching the gospel, and he was the first person that I saw talk about Jesus in almost like a philosophical way, not strictly talking about it from the Bible, from the book.
Okay, so y'all know how men use 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash? This is like that, but leg day. I present to you a quad ham yang glute day using machines only. First up, we are invading the glute medius on the abduction machine. Don't tell anyone I said this, but these are my favorite because you get to sit. Hallelujah. Calf raises because my days of skipping calves really caught up to me and they do not look proportionate to my body at all. Don't be like me, go do your raises. Standard leg press, about as reliable as, well, none of your boyfriends. I did these with my feet shoulder width apart and in the middle of the platform so I could target multiple areas of the legs at once. Then we moved on to hip thrusts. Do not do these if you don't want to grow your glutes, because they are guaranteed to add mass to your behind. Lying hamstring curl. Do I even need to explain myself for these? Oh, and yes, you guessed it, leg extensions. I had a flight to catch after this workout, and I'm not going to be able to have access to a gym for 10 days, so this was a nice little spanking to all my leg muscle groups before I left. Here's me quitting my set and then realize I could definitely do more. Can't be caught lacking because the world is not ready for the amount of dessert that I'm going to consume on this trip. Chocolate croissant.
That's kind of what sparked the fire in me, or the kind of, what if? There was a lot of things that were pushing me away from religion growing up, and I never thought that I would believe or become a Christian specifically, ever. And he kind of resolved those issues for me. For example, I kind of had the problem with the idea of, oh, I don't believe, but I'm a good person, so why don't I get to go to heaven if Jesus is real, right? And he explains that hell is not like this place of fire or necessarily punishment. It's just separation from God. So if you have the opportunity to get to know God and you kind of say no and you reject him, he's not gonna force you to spend eternity with him.
Smells like someone that neglects their hamstrings. Don't worry, I used to stink too, so let's grow these guys. Here's what one of my hamstring days looks like at the gym. Started off with some single leg hamstring curls. I did these for a total of 4 sets, slow and controlled, progressively getting heavier in weight. Then we moved on to the main course of the workout, SLDL, straight leg deadlifts. The difference between this and RDL is that you keep your legs more straight and stiff so that you can target the hamstrings instead of your glutes. After I did around 12 reps, I dropped the weight and did some body weight reps to really get into that hamstring. I did these for a total of 3 sets. Next up, lying hamstring curls. This is where I really started to just burn myself out and do a lot of reps. Started out with 2 sets of 12 with heavy weight. Then for my 3rd and 4th sets, I would do around 10 to 12 reps, half the weight, and then start doing partials. On my 3rd set, I did around 12 partials with a hold at the end, and for my 4th set, I decided to do a double drop set and then do the hold. Doing holds on the hamstring curl machine is awesome when you're working out with a partner because it can actually push against you to create even more resistance. On my hamstring days, I have a quad pump, which means I literally just get a quad pump. So I threw in some leg extensions in between those hamstring curl sets. Basically with these, the goal was just to get some quad exhaustion. Physique was low-key serving here. Very much giving delts. Thank you. You guessed it, another hamstring curl. I mean, come on guys, there's not many hamstring exercises out there. I always have trouble unracking this machine. It drives me insane. Did these for 3 sets of 15 reps to 20 and superset it with some calf raises because Lord knows my calves are tiny. And that's it for my hamstring day. Thank you for
Another thing was, why does bad things happen to good people? That's a really big one. And he explains that through free will. So if someone does something bad to me, that's not God's will. It's just the fact that he gave us free will, and bad things happen as a result of that. So that was another thing. And that really sparked a little belief in me, and as I liked those videos on my TikTok feed, I started getting more of them. More of my questions started getting answered, and I feel like everyone has a moment where they kind of step over that line where it's like, okay, yeah, now I really believe. reminder that genetics play a huge role in the way that your body looks. I only train abs once a week, but the reason why my abs are so prominent is because of my fat placement genetics. I naturally hold a lot of my fat in my legs and places like my triceps instead of my stomach. Obviously, everyone holds fat everywhere, but they have areas where they hold more fat in, where it goes first. People have different bone structures. Some have wider hips, some have wider shoulders. It all depends, and that's why it's important not to be hard on yourself whenever you see someone on the internet with a physique that you feel like is unattainable for you, no matter how hard you work out or diet. Yes, I'm definitely lucky that I get to have abs even when I'm not super lean, but it doesn't mean that I don't struggle with the fat that I hold in other places. On the bright side though, when you start working out and eating healthy foods and taking care of yourself, you can only look like a better version than what you do now. Imagine your physique, your genetics maxed out. You're unique in the way that you have cool things about your physique. But since we are talking about abs, you brace your core during a lot of weightlifting movements, so that builds abs by itself. But if you do want to train them specifically, I love hanging leg raises, stuff like that. Literally any sort of ab exercise, crunches, just throwing them in your routine here and there. I personally do abs during my delts day. I just throw in exercises in between the ones that I'm doing for my shoulders. But a lot of people usually have to be pretty lean in order to see your abs, and that comes with a good diet. So keep that in mind and have a great day. I feel like everyone at some point in their lives feels betrayed by the people that they love. And I just kind of was like, had this thought of, well, why can't someone love me the way I love them? If that makes sense. But then again, like, my love isn't perfect because I'm human. So I was like, where can I, I'm just searching for this love. That's all I want, this love. Because this day I just felt really alone. And it just kind of hit me. I can find that love through God. And this is gonna sound really corny or weird to people who don't believe. If I was watching this even a year ago, I'd be like, okay, buddy. But I think it's just something that you get when you get it. I'm not saying that people who don't believe are dumb or anything like that. That's not my point. It's just something that I can't explain, that I experienced. That makes it sound like it was some like boom moment. It kind of was in terms of like me believing, but it wasn't anything that blew my mind. Unfortunately, us being humans, we're imperfect. So a lot of times we manipulate everything. That's why there can be a lot of gross stuff that goes on in churches or any type of religious institute. I'm sure you guys have heard stories. That was a lot of the stuff that pushed me away from the idea of religion. And I also had trouble with the fact that there are so many religions, and I was like, how, it's so selfish or stubborn for people to be like, what I believe is right and what you believe is wrong. But at the end of the day, Jesus just made the most sense to me. Historically, there's just so much evidence. If you don't already, you should know that you can make a job out of what you love. There is a job for literally everything on this planet. You'd be surprised the amount of people that I meet, and they have the most obscure job I've never even heard of it. Pursue something you love as a hobby, and then you never know what could come out of it. There's still a lot of stuff for me to learn, but I just believe in Jesus now, and I'm so happy that I made that decision. Like I said, there's so much stuff that I'm still trying to navigate. It's only been a few months. I don't think anyone ever really gets all the answers, but I'm learning as I go. And another thing is that growing up, I always thought that God was just a comfort thing, just like, oh, I get to go to heaven, and it kind of makes life a little bit easier. But I feel like for me, believing makes my life harder almost in a way, because I don't get to make up my own morals. There's no such thing as moral objectivity. I kind of actually have a set of rules to strive for and to follow. And before, it was kind of just like, oh, life is meaningless, so I can do whatever I want. Might as well just enjoy life however I see fit. And now it's like, oh, I actually have someone to look up to. And I don't know, it just, if anything, it's less comfortable. I don't know how to describe that. But because, it's less comfortable because I'm running out of time. But it's so hard to not focus on worldly things when you're alive. So I'm running out of time. But that's my story, and if you made it this far, you have some really good listening skills. But thanks for listening. I'm bigger than you at 14. A male with more testosterone is bigger than me, even though he's younger than me? Well, guess what? I still get more women than
Here is a video of my sister impersonating bodybuilders. I don't do steroids. I'm natty. You want free protein? Just drink egg whites. Et bon appetit. And if you're wondering if it actually works or not, the liquid version of egg whites are just 50% bioavailable. Or you have to drink twice as much as you would eat in order to get the same amount of protein. But if you're lazy and you're in a rush, it works goddamn well. Refreshing. Imagine this. Imagine being a man and bragging about being bigger than a woman. Brother, I don't know what you're talking about. I say we set back the clock. Men get back to work, and women get back to cooking and cleaning. Seems like we've done a switcheroo. All the men want to be girls, and all the girls gotta be men. This guy asked me why I care that people are spreading misinformation about fitness on the internet. Why would I not care? Literally, I remember my first impression of fitness on the internet being like, oh my god, do Alexis Friend's ab workout for 10 minutes. Do this workout and you'll have a butt in 2 weeks. That's literally not how fitness works. Buy this tea, it'll slim you down. You think a tea is gonna make you snatch, bro? These companies and these people will try to sell you anything and promise you a smaller waist and a bigger butt. Shut up. I feel like me and Carly have said this a million times on the internet. Your waist size is mostly going to be genetic. The way you get to your smallest waist size, or I'll say your true waist size, is if you're at your leanest. For example, I'm pretty much the leanest I've ever been. My waist is pretty much the smallest it's ever been. But when I'm maintaining or I'm in a surplus, it's bigger. Also, genetics are very, very important. Everybody could do the same workouts and they will look completely different because we all have different genetic makeup. Here is a video of my sister impersonating bodybuilders.
I don't do steroids. I'm natty.
I got you, mommy. So what I do is I stand like this. I'm gonna show you guys from the side first. I pull, and then I grab my back, and then I like open up basically, like that. I show it from the back. So my hands are out here, and I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna grab it, and then open up basically. And what I like to think of is once I'm out here, I try to think of flexing. If your scapula is like staying out, you just bring it. And if you have the problem of like coming forward, this is what that would look like. What you do is you kind of arch your back. You like this. I don't know how to describe it, but.
Whatever daddy wants, daddy gets. Whatever daddy wants, daddy gets. Whatever daddy wants, that's exactly what daddy gets. All right, all right.